Welcome back to the Talkin Shop podcast, brought to you by Chief of Staff KC, your local Kansas City talent scouts here recruiting the best accounting and finance, operations, HR, sales talent Kansas City has to offer. Today we have Brandon Jackson, owner of Transon Relations Investment Group. Brandon, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. How you doing?
Hey, I'm excited to be here, man. Always glad to, talk about football and business. So
That's
yeah,
right.
I'm excited, man.
Good deal. So we're going to talk some shop with Brandon here in a moment, and then we're going to talk chop at the end because the Chiefs absolutely they didn't score as many points as I hope they have, but it was still a dominant victory nonetheless. So 19-9 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. They're without a few key pieces, but so are we. So we'll keep things moving here. I want to talk a little bit about the job market real quick before we dive into things. It's not slowing down. I say this week in, week out. We have a $200K total compensation package, director of accounting policy position right now. Our president, Casey Wright's working closely with the client, and we have, I believe, two candidates in the mix so far, but it's going to be a lengthy process. So if you're looking at making a change at a director level accounting position for the end of the year, we'd love to talk to you. And then we have a plethora of lower level AP, AR, clerk positions on up. So without further ado, we'll dive right into this, Brandon. I'd love to hear a little bit more about Transon Relations Investment Group. I've talked to you briefly about it, but tell our viewers a little bit more about what you do and how you started this business.
Definitely. So Transon Relations Investment Group is a single member business. Well, it's actually my wife and I.
Sure.
But we buy properties, we sell properties, we'll go in and rehab properties.
Okay.
We rent properties. We'll do. We've been doing a lot of room rentals, so we'll take a single family home, and section it off, and say a 4-bedroom house. We'll rent out each bedroom to a different individual, and we cover all utilities, Wi-Fi, pretty much everything. So you get this room, and all the common areas are shared, and you're paying $500 to $600 a month, and that's it. No extra bills.
Wow.
So yeah, that's one of our favorite strategies we're using right now. But been in business since 2012.
Okay.
And worked at a Fortune 500 company, and then finally went full time in 2017, and been doing it since. And portfolio is about 27 properties right now, and
excellent.
Constantly buying and looking for more properties. So if anybody knows any, we're looking.
That's right. That's right. How'd you come up with the idea? Was it something that was instilled in you from early on? Because you did it, you said part time, right up until 2017. What initially started that ball rolling?
I think just like a bunch of other people that do real estate investing, when I was like 18 or 19, seeing the infomercials.
Sure.
It was Carlton Sheets. That's the one that I saw.
Yeah.
And, it's talking about you can buy properties with no money down and all this stuff. And, have a picture of an ugly property and then a pretty property. And it looked pretty simple. It's like, I know I'm not the smartest guy, but I think I could figure that out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And, just started researching, reading a lot of books, getting out of my comfort zone and trying to find people that were already in the field and, started getting a little bit of traction and, making a lot of mistakes. But, that's part of it. And finally, started getting a few bunts. Oh, we're talking football. Started getting a few first downs.
There we go. Absolutely.
And, just one thing led to another. And, here we are. But it was just, it didn't look difficult.
Sure.
And I just like the concept of taking something ugly and distressed and making it beautiful and then be able to create a nice substantial income from it as well.
Well, congratulations on being able to switch full-time to it. I know being your own boss or owning your own company can be an exciting experience, right? And I'm sure that was, a great period of time in your life, and you're still building on that. You talked briefly about being a one-man shop or with your wife as well, but you do a lot of work with these contractors, right? To help you facilitate the process, help renovate and renew and flip these homes. We at Chief of Staff, we talk about being conduits of culture. And so you may not hire employees, but you have to pick and choose who you're working with because that's an extension of your company. How do you go about finding the right culture fit when you're working with these contractors? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I like to do a very thorough background check. So, I'll talk to other investors that have used contractors anytime I use somebody. And again, this is what I do now.
Sure.
Of course, I've made mistakes and, been screwed over by contractors and all that, which a lot of times that's part of the business. You have to learn what not to do by doing it.
That's right.
Yeah. So, which, it sucks, but that is part of it. But yeah, now we do a very thorough check and just asking around to other investors or asking for references.
Sure.
Portfolio pictures of before and after projects they've done and things like that. And, we'll go to the property and just check up on it, see how things are going. Not all the time, but because I'm not in the business of, wanting to be always going to properties and looking at it, but we'll go from time to time just to make sure things are, where they're supposed to be.
Yep.
But yeah, just a lot of fact checking and, background checking.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you sharing. Well, kind of this walks us into the quick hitter segment. You alluded to a first down earlier.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of the first question. What's a recent first down you have had personally or within your business that, was a small bit of success that's going to lead to more sequential success in the future?
I would say just more of the probably networking aspect.
Sure.
Just meeting a bunch of individuals that could help go to that next level, and just finding individuals that are, challenge your thinking.
Right.
Because a lot of times, if your circle can control so much of your thinking,
Absolutely.
and if you get to a point to where you're above where your circle's thinking, now you your mindset gets to another point to where you think that you're okay and you're comfortable.
Yep.
But, in order to get to that other place, you have to get uncomfortable and you have to change that circle get around others that are, doing amazing things, like way more than what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it helps you, and it's not about competition. It's just, it helps you to realize that there's still much more that you can do.
100% helps you grow in numerous areas, right? Like mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yep.
I think that's really smart, and networking is a huge piece of obviously what I do as well. So it's so neat to see how it impacts each individual in Kansas City and just in general. That's a great first down. Talk to me about a recent setback you've had, a sack, right, that you've had to overcome recently.
Let me see. A recent sack. I'll tell you about one of the biggest ones, at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and this was maybe a couple of years ago. Had a property and, had a guy that I used to work with. And he did contracting work. So, I kind of trust him a little bit more.
Sure.
And it's just kind of alluding back to what I said about, contractors and, how we do our checks now.
Right.
But, I just had a history with him. So I was like, you know what? We won't worry about doing a contract and all that stuff. It'll just be like a verbal agreement.
The old handshake deal.
Yeah, the handshake deal. I also had another partner involved,
okay.
From the finance side. And,
right.
This guy, he basically just found a way to navigate and, get me out of the way and have a direct contact with this finance guy. And,
sure.
It ended up being a bad deal. And, he ended up taking like 10 grand. And,
man.
We had to just figure out how to get this property done. And,
right.
It was definitely a learning experience.
Yep.
But, like I said, that's part of it. Going through that has now gotten us to the place to where we're like, okay, we have to do this, and this on this contractor to make sure that they are what they say they are. We have different phases for the project and, just making sure things are more in order.
Help you put some systems in place, which sounds like you absolutely have those now and have had further success from overcoming that sack, right? So I think that's the theme. You got to fail to succeed.
You got to fail to succeed.
That's right. What about a big goal you're working on? You've obviously come a long way since even just 2017 when you started steering the ship full time, but what do the next 12 months look like for you guys?
Just looking to do more of the room rental leases. So, finding properties where I found out it has to be at least like 4 bedrooms. That's where it works best as far as the numbers go.
Sure.
And, just maybe picking up 4 or 5 more of those because, that's another 20 units with just 4 properties or 5 properties.
Sure.
So, just really narrowing down on that strategy and perfecting it and, getting some better systems in place and then probably just handing it off to a property management company because right now we handle all the phone calls, all the text messages, all the,
all the administrative work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Well, you handle all the bills and utilities and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone's out there, looking for an all-in-one type of package, Brandon's your guy. Definitely reach out to him. Transon Relations Investment Group, correct?
Yes, and I will tell you where the name derived from. So
please.
My wife's name is Tequila.
Okay.
Just like the alcohol, it's spelled different. My name is Brandon. So we took the T from her name. And then the RAN from Brandon.
Okay.
My last name is Jackson.
Perfect.
So Transon. That's where
nice.
it came from.
Okay, I love that. So. No, good deal. That's really unique. But that sounds like an awesome structure model you guys have going on all sides, and I wish you well in all future endeavors. 100%. I know you're a good fan of the chief of staff team. You're a good fan of our show and Casey Wright. So appreciate you being on here to talk some shop. But now, if you're open to it, let's talk some chop. Right?
Hey, let's chop it up.
Got to talk about some football here. So the Chiefs just looked great in all facets. The defense finally showed up.
Yes.
Chris Jones. I don't even want to go into details yet. I want you to take the first take of the game. So we like to take an homage to Andy Reid. And so I want you to have the first dibs here. With that, time's yours. What did you think about the game?
Like you said, man, our defense was it was great.
Yeah.
It would have been great if Dallas didn't score at all.
Right.
But I mean, Chris Jones was just out there killing it, man. Like, I think it was the most sacks by a Chiefs player since D Ford. It said like 2017 or something.
That's right.
So
that's right.
Yeah, man, they look good. Mahomes, he looked pretty good, and kind of getting back to his old self, and I was it was a great game, man. It was, and I have a nephew. He loves Dallas, so
okay.
Yeah, so he's thinking that Dallas is going to come in and beat us. And,
sure.
It's like, did you see the game?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You did. I'm gonna just leave it there. I didn't even go further with it.
That's right.
You saw it. Okay. I don't want to rub it in.
They were talking a big game, social media, the talking heads. Everyone was saying it's like, we have Amari Cooper on the COVID list. We have a couple players out on defense, but we're still going to beat the Chiefs, right? Like they still felt so confident, and now they're backtracking. They're saying, well, it's because of the injuries is why we didn't do good. It was because of X, Y, Z. It's like, all right, let the excuses flow now.
Exactly.
I mean, we held the number one offense, right, or a high-powered offense in the NFL this year, right, to only 9 points, 3 field goals. If you would have told me that, a week or two ago, I'd say, it's going to be a higher scoring game than that.
Yeah.
And that actually, we did score predictions last week. I think you were the closest. You had a lower scoring game, Tucker, right? 21 to 19 or something like that. It was 23-21. Okay. And so he was closest there. Everybody else had like in the 30s, right? Like, oh, it's going to be a shootout.
That's what you'd expect. Yeah.
But ultimately, I think, we can hang our hat on the defense. The L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah. Man.
He's the real deal.
Yes.
I mean,
he was looking good.
He looks awesome.
Looking good, man.
Rashaad Fenton, I think, another great corner that Brett Veach has found for us. He looked like he had his knee banged up, but I think he's doing okay, they said. Any other thoughts on the Cowboys game?
I know Matthew, they said he wasn't feeling good before the game.
I heard that. Yeah.
I mean, he usually he's pretty active, but you didn't hear his name a lot in the game. But, he's probably just not 100% just because they did say he was feeling a little, or I think, was it his knee?
It was his knee. Yeah, you're
right.
right.
His knee. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep. So, because his knee had swole up a little bit. He saw it that morning. Mm-hmm. But there were still a couple of plays where, he was doing his thing, and, he definitely played his part. But great game overall. Enjoyed it. And, I'm excited to see where we go from here because, we're
That's right.
We're starting to get there, get that momentum back.
Well, that's perfect segue. Knock on wood, we've gotten this far without too many crazy injuries, right?
Yeah.
And we're heading into a bye week to get healthy finally. So, we'll be able to watch a little bit of football outside of Chiefs football this weekend to see how the rest of the AFC West compares and the AFC in general, because we're right back in the thick of it.
Yes,
we are right there.
Yes, we
I
are.
saw this meme. It was from The Office. It showed the AFC, symbol, and then it showed the Chiefs team, and it was Dwight, and then I'm forgetting. Have you seen The Office? Mm-mm. Tucker, what's Angela? Thank you.
Okay.
Angela snuck up behind Dwight, and it was the Chiefs symbol, and he turned around. He's like, "Oh shit, they're right here." Everybody was counting us out, right? And now we're about to be in first place here if things continue trending in the right direction. Yep. What are your thoughts so far on the first half of the season versus this second leg that we're about to kick off? I mean, what do you see the Chiefs doing moving forward?
Well, basing it off of the last few weeks, then I would say we're on path to get back to, how we were looking the last few years. Because at the first half, or at least the first, 5 games, 6 games?
Ish, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of, what's going on, is Mahomes not, his passes weren't looking as accurate and precise as before. And, just the drop passes and everything. And even Kelsey had one, well, not dropped, it was I guess it was dropped because he caught it.
Right.
But it bounced off.
Talk about the interception.
Yeah. Defender just happened to be right there where he could catch it. And,
Yep.
So, but I feel that we're getting to where we were in the previous years.
Yes.
And, I'm getting back excited because for a minute there, the first few games, you're excited and then you see the game going, it's like, dude, what are we doing? What's going on? Like, I know you just had a baby. Is it distracting you?
Man.
Like, which I get it. He's definitely under, so much pressure. You can only imagine being that age and a whole city, depending on you to, repeat or even do as good as you've done the previous year. So I get it. But, I'm definitely excited for this second half. And I think that, we'll be, if we don't take it all again, we'll definitely be, champions, AFC. And I have pretty high hopes. Now, other teams are looking good, too.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. But, I think as long as we keep up and do what we're doing now, we should be good.
He said to the media, he goes, we're not even playing our best football yet. You know, and that's a scary thought.
Yeah, I know.
So that's exciting because we talked about only 19 points. You know, if we start putting up some numbers and the defense plays like that, special teams plays like that, the rest of the league needs to be on watch.
Exactly.
Kind of have the swagger back, championship swagger, as Tyrann Mathieu likes to say. So I'm with you. I'm on board. I think it's going to be an exciting second leg of the season, and it feels good for Chiefs fans, right?
Definitely.
Well, Brandon, thank you. I appreciate you being on for the first time today. We'd love to have you back on in the future. Thanks again for your time and, sharing with everyone a little bit more about your business and being the owner there and what you guys have done so far. I again, wish you well in the future. But do you have any closing thoughts?
Let's go Chiefs.
That's right.
Hey, that's my biggest thing right now. Let's go Chiefs. And like I said, I'm definitely looking for properties to purchase. So anybody that has any properties that they need to sell or know somebody that needs to sell a property, any type of situation, we're always happy to help. And even if we don't purchase the property, we're still happy to give advice and help.
Sure.
If somebody inherits a property from a family member dying or anything like that, we're always happy to help. And if you want to talk football, we can talk football too.
That's right. There we go. A little 2-in-1 action.
Yes, sir.
Well, that does it for this week of Talkin' Chop, brought to you by Chief of Staff KC. Whether you're listening on YouTube, LinkedIn, Spotify, you name it, make sure to subscribe and catch our weekly episodes with some of Kansas City's top business owners, executives, and personalities. We appreciate you for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next week. We're going to talk to someone who actually is a Denver fan leading into the Denver game. So with that being said, go Chiefs.